A while back, I was listening to this person, Gregory Woods, reading from his poetry and his books at De Montfort University in Leicester. He's a lecturer in gay studies at Nottingham Trent University, and I particularly bought this book because I was very impressed by his poetry and the power that it presents. I want to read this poem from the book in remembrance of and dedicated to a great friend of Sharon's called Colin. Colin was around when the subject of this poem first came about. Colin was gay and he was a tremendous performer. He performed locally in the Great Yarmouth area. There is, in fact, in the Pavilion Theatre, Great Yarmouth, a seat and a plaque dedicated to Colin. So if you happen to go to Great Yarmouth Pavilion Theatre, please do have a look. Yeah, I read this for Colin and for so many who died so long ago. You are thought of, you are remembered, you are loved. It's called The Ballad of Johnny Bones. I'll sing you a song of the late Johnny Bones, a man neither saintly nor sinner, as a hero no more than a child playing games, as a villain an abject beginner. If at school something set him apart from his pals, you couldn't have figured the cause. Not brawny or weedy, brilliant or dim, he cancelled the vacuum nature abhors. He turned out to be one of those persons to the whim of creation perfects by giving them looks and a passion for the same, not the opposite sex. When Johnny came out to his parents, they created a hell of a fuss. "What have we done to deserve this?" they asked. "How could you do this to us?" He tried to placate them with logic, and then with intemperate tears. But his mother just folded her arms on her chest, and his father boxed his ears. So Johnny decided to leave home and move to a suitable place where the people didn't stare but ignore you if they didn't like the look of your face. In the streets of the capital city, Johnny still found in the streets of the capital city, Johnny found what he'd been looking for: a room and a job and the freedom to be what he'd not been before. By treating himself to a haircut that he'd seen in the style magazines, Johnny turned himself into a sex god, just like all of the other queens. Soon immersed in the life of the city, frequenting its nightclubs and bars, he felt quite far from his hometown, as if he'd journeyed from Mars. A sequence of beautiful boyfriends and ships that passed in the night not only made sense of his gayness, but made bedtimes a perfect delight. Of course there were those who insisted that this sort weren't as gay as they felt. They should know from the start they are losers, given the hand they've been dealt. When the shame of their tragic condition proves that yearning for love is in vain, they should give up and take prussic acid or throw themselves under a train. But Johnny was happy. Yes, happy. Though it's true there'd been moments of pain, such as when he spilt barbecue sauce down his shirt and couldn't remove the stain. A night on the tiles at home with his cat either could fill him with bliss. His life was as good as he thought it could get, his death far enough to dismiss. Even unexplained illness couldn't diminish his zest for the life he had chosen. Beset by a shivering fit, he would sing a cappella, falsetto. His tiny hand was frozen. He puckered up the courage to go to the clinic and asked to be given a test. The results, when they came, were not a surprise. They confirmed what he'd already guessed. Soldiering on diet pills, he bought food for the cat. Although he became thin as a rake, his spirit was never so fat. When he died, he had friends all around him, willing him on breath by breath. They gave him the courage to fight, but at last to embrace his own death. The funeral service was held in a church, with incense and organ and a priest, the Boneses ignoring the wishes of the firmly agnostic deceased. Johnny Bones was an ordinary mortal, neither better nor worse than the rest, but it has to be said that because he was queer, he tended to be better dressed. Bless you, Colin.